We're gonna take this bike, or we're gonna take that bike? This bike, or that bike? It's gotta be that one, right? It's always that one. Ha! I like the way you guys think. That, my friends, is the cord showing. So that means we're gonna be taking this today. What's up, everybody? Paramoto here. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I hope your holidays were great. Today I'm out here on the Panigale 300, just having a little bit of fun, and I want to give you guys a quick little topic video. It's actually like 60 something degrees today in the land of North Carolina. So anyway, guys, I want to talk to you guys about why you don't need a 1000cc bike. So I bet you there's some people out there that are going to be like, bro, you ride an almost 1000cc bike and you're going to give me a video about why you don't need a 1000cc bike? Yeah, I am. That's what's happening today. So I ride typically a Panigale 959. I love that damn thing. And to be honest with you, it's a bit overkill for what I do. So if anybody really watches my channels and stuff, you'll know that, most of my time I spend just kind of chilling and just, being a little bit of a dickhead, but not too much, just kind of hanging out and just, riding, some country roads. Sometimes I go in the city, and a lot of times I'm just giving y'all a topic video and just chill. So I'm out here to tell you that this Ninja 300 is just as fun as my Panigale 959. You do not need a 1000cc bike out here to have fun. And if you guys really watch the channel, you'll know that I'm actually really looking to get a DRZ 400. That even goes to show you even more that you don't need a 1000cc bike out here to have fun. This 300 is so flickable. I'm having so much fun just in these turns, just kind of throwing it around and everything. And, max wristing it. That was a max wrist moment for more than a few seconds, and it's literally like, it'll go from 50 to 60 in eventually, but that's what kind of makes it fun. You don't need to go Mach 1000 everywhere you fucking go. You're not like that guy. I'm definitely not a fucking Valentino Rossi, or as Psycho Cruiser would say, I am not a fucking street Rossi, and I don't need a fucking 1000cc bike. I have plenty of fun in this 300. If you guys know, like, I used to actually ride a 300. It was my first bike, and it was like my favorite bike ever. We'll be right back after these notes from our sponsor. See, if I did that shit on my Panigale, I'd be going, 100 plus miles an hour. On this bike, I'm going 47. It's just fun, dude. You can take this shit up to the rev limiter, you can beat on it a little bit, and it's like, it'll literally just hang out and just do it, and it won't get you in trouble. I mean, that kind of shit for me on my Panigale probably would be like something close to like getting my bike impounded, but you get to have fun on these bikes. You don't have to fucking just baby them everywhere. That's like the old saying, it's funner to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. And it's very true. It's super true. Like, I ride a fast bike slow all the time. And when you get to come out here and use what you've learned on your big fast bike, on your little fun bike, you feel a lot more skilled. This bike is going to cost you a third of the price of a 1000cc bike. The parts are going to be relatively cheap. It's not going to break down. You'll be able to do most of the work on your own. Oh man, gotta get it. It's just fun, dude. This is just good old-fashioned fun. These fucking Japanese bikes can just be so much fun. And they're cheap. They're cheap to insure, they're cheap to maintain, they're cheap to buy. It's not like a Panigale where it's like you're gonna end up having to fucking spend 16 grand, depending on what your trade-in is, and then your insurance is going to be $130 a month, and then if anything breaks, hopefully you got warranty, and that's on any 1000cc bike. I mean, you're talking about a bike that's got a lot of power. Things are going to get broken. Like right now, I'm on this bike because I only got 5,000 miles on my rear tire, which is actually pretty good for the kind of tires that they are, but I only got 5,000 miles out of that tire, and right now I have an appointment scheduled to go get a new tire, but at the same time, that rear tire is going to be costing me 310 bucks, all installed and everything, which isn't too bad. But I mean, like on a bike like this, it'd be like 200 bucks, It wouldn't be bad at all because the tires are skinny, they're cheap, a lot of people make them, and you know what? It's just fun. And I had to bring up something actually that's pretty important too. So I have to say that the natural progression that people say that you should do when you ride motorcycles, that's, you know, starter bike, 600cc sport bike, 1000cc sport bike, that's total bullshit. That is total bullshit. You can have just as much fun on a 300 as you can a 1000. You can have just as much fun on a 600 as you can a 1000cc bike. And that's just truth. And anybody that's ridden all of them, you know, you should attest to that. I mean, to be honest with you, you really should attest to that. I mean, you can literally have just as much fun with the 300 as you can a 1000, and sometimes even more fun. But it's just a different kind of fun. You know, you don't have to go Mach 1000 on a city road to have fun. All right, guys, it's green. Let's go. All right, which lane are you going to be in? So anyway, guys, the natural progression of bikes is bullshit. You don't need to go 300, 600, 1000. And even though, you know, you could if you really wanted to, but your smaller bikes are so much more forgiving, which could actually lend to them being a slightly more fun. You know, your smaller bikes are so much more forgiving. You know, people don't understand that. Like when you talk about, you know, not starting on too heavy of a bike, you know, not starting on too fast of a bike, not starting on too powerful of a bike, people don't really talk about, you know, not starting on a bike that'll fucking put you on the ground for making a simple mistake. You know, and that's something like a 1000cc bike will do, because a 1000cc bike is not a beginner bike, and they're never meant to be a beginner bike, and you better not treat them like a fucking beginner bike. Like, that bike is meant for people that know what they're doing. And basically, nobody ever talks about troubleshooting on these bikes. If you whiskey throttle a bike, if you give too much throttle at the wrong time, if you take a turn in the wrong gear, if you downshift at the wrong time, if you're just in the wrong gear in general, these bikes, you know, like a 300, if you whiskey throttle this thing, like, I'm just gonna downshift and be in the power rev. So if you whiskey throttle it, you know, you're gonna be safe. You know, you are gonna be safe. You know, that was full throttle in the power band, in the meat and potatoes of this bike's power band, and it really didn't throw me back. It didn't really do much of anything. It started accelerating, but it didn't do it in a violent manner the way that my Panigale 959 would, which is just a beastly fucking bike. But at the same point, this bike is just going to be so much more forgiving, and like a 650 is going to be so much more forgiving, which is going to make you have more fun. Because if you're not worried about getting bit by your bike, then you're going to have more fun. And that's something nobody ever talks about when they're talking about what kind of bike to get. It's like, yeah, you could, anybody that can ride a 300cc bike, you give them a week on a 300cc bike, you could totally ride 1000. That's not saying, like, these bikes are the same thing. These bikes are all the same fucking thing. Like, you know, if you can ride a 300, you can ride 1000. You know, it's not like my Panigale, it's not like the clutch is in a different spot. It's not like it takes, you know, a masterful rider to ride it. It's just, it takes experience to be able to troubleshoot it as you go. So if you fuck something up, you need to know what to do. And you need to, I mean, that's the big thing about riding motorcycles. Motorcycles is about thinking quick and decision making. You know, if you can't quickly think of a way to get out of trouble, or, you know, you don't know how to fix a problem that you caused, like, you know, you're whiskey throttling the shit out of your butt, or don't wave at all, you know, what the fuck ever. But if you're like whiskey throttling the shit out of your bike, or you're doing something fucked up, you need to be able to know how to fix that. You know, and it's like a 300, the worst thing happens, you know, the bike's not going to put you on the ground. A 1000cc bike, Japanese or Italian, will put you on the ground. You know, if you whiskey throttled my 959, you're probably going to end up looping that thing. And that's going to be a $16,000 oops. You know, this thing, you ain't going to loop it. I mean, I've seen people do wheelies on these. I've seen people do some pretty dank wheelies on these things. But you're not going to fucking loop this thing unless you're really fucking trying. You know, and that's something that's really a fucking positive about the 300s, is that they're so friendly to everybody. And that's really a big thing that I like about the smaller CC bikes. And that's I think that's why I kind of recommend everybody start on them. It's not that you can't handle a 1000cc bike, it's that they'll be really forgiving, which means you'll have a lot more fun on a 300 over 1000 if you don't know what you're doing yet. We all get there eventually. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to ride a fucking motorcycle. You know, it takes a skilled rider to ride one well, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to ride a bike. Knee down, water, shitty tires, sand. So that's just fun. Like, I probably wouldn't do that on my Panigale just because, no, it'd just be a little bit too big and cumbersome to do that with. I mean, you could, but it's not as fun as it is on this bike, you know? Smaller CC bikes make everything more fun. That's why a lot of people that ride end up downsizing eventually. Like, I could totally see getting a smaller CC bike. Like, honestly, I'm not getting rid of my Panigale though. That's for damn sure. I'm thinking about getting a DRZ 400. Well, that bike is probably going to be more fun to just hooligan around on than my Panigale, you know? And I might ride that DRZ 400 a little bit more than my Panigale. And you know what? That'll just keep the miles off it, keep my values up and everything, which is good. I still love my Panigale, but I can't say good enough things about having a smaller CC fucking bike. These things are just so much fun just because they're super forgiving and they encourage you to push a little bit, you know? This thing, you can beat the shit out of it, and it's just you're not really gonna break any laws. You're not really gonna do anything crazy, you know? You're not gonna loop out. You don't gotta worry about wrecking. Like, it's just, there's nothing to worry about in these things. It's just fucking easy times, man. Just easy times. I love it. And they're comfortable. That's one thing. This bike, my back's killing me right now, and this thing's actually really comfortable. It looks like my bank is closed. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Deuces.